What's up, everyone? I hope you're having a beautiful day today. Super excited. Why? You know why. It's a One Piece Day. That's right. It's One Piece Day, everybody's favorite days of the week. But it's a little different. I promised you guys a bit of a rant review kind of video for Marineford, and here we are. Not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. Not really sure what I'm going to be talking about. I'm just gonna let the passion flow, baby. But it is going to be one of those things. If you're used to other very smart YouTubers talking about One Piece, and I'm sure there are plenty out there, I try to stay away from everything. That way I'm not spoiled. I'm going to let you right now. It's not going to be overly articulate. This isn't going to be very intelligent. It's just going to be how I feel. So it's probably just going to be a little bit of here, a little bit of there, more holes in it than whitebeard.
Emotional damage.
Okay. That was a hard joke to make, but it's fine. Anywho, no, just Marineford, I love for the simple fact, I think it's called like the Summit War arc or saga. And, you know, for those that don't know, Summit is defined as the tallest part of the mountain, the essential tippity top. Yeah, that being said, after all this and probably 1,200 episodes from now, we're probably going to get the Peak War, which, you know, kind of the same thing, but more pointy. That's conjecture. I'm just assuming, right? It feels like the natural progression of things, and maybe I'll get to that in this video as well. But no, kind of the first thing I want to talk about is the overall art style of Marineford. They did a lot of things I felt differently in this, in the sense of like color transitions, making things gray while other things are red, or the death of whitebeard, so to speak. A very kind of noir-esque, aesthetic art style. You know, whitebeard, completely black outline.
Okay, I like it, Picasso.
The blood was red to just really accentuate all the violence was actually, the way all the violence was happening, right? So it's one of those things, like in moments there were thicker lines on the characters to show like rage or how they were moving, and it was just it was such a beautiful thing to see, right? It felt like it accentuated all the emotion that was actually being put in to the show, and it, you know, as a viewer, as a reactor, it's one of those things that like that just made you more excited. It brought you in. It was so much more immersive because the more you can actually feel the emotion of those characters, the more you're going to be drawn in. And so like the thicker lines, the like the blacks and the reds, turning people gray, while highlighting other characters like Ace, Luffy in the moment of when they're trying to get away, pre what I am now have been included in is the donut meme. It's just
wrong.
But no, so like, you know, in that moment, like Luffy and Ace were, you know, full color and everything around them was grayed out, you know, kind of showing that in that moment of time, the only thing that was really in their world was each other and Whitebeard. Because, you know, Luffy was trying to get Ace to come. Whitebeard was staying behind. Ace didn't want to leave Whitebeard. And the rest is plot holes. So, you know, the art overall was just something I truly enjoyed. And I felt it took the show to a new level. Like I said, at this point, I think I've watched up to episode, I want to say like 506, 508, maybe. So, you know, I'm making this at a period when I don't know if the animation gets better or worse. It's just like in this moment, it is Summit animation. So, and art. So I just really enjoyed that. The next thing I kind of really want to talk about is just the story, the narrative, everything that went on, right? I mean, we had, I've kind of talked about this before after like the death of Pale in Alabasta. It just kind of felt like Oda treated death almost as a meme itself, right? Like it was to pluck the heartstrings a little bit. Like it never felt like it was going to be forever. It was he treated death as a comic book would treat death, not necessarily as I've seen like other anime or manga treat death. And so it's one of those things to where when we finally get to this moment, and you know, Luffy lost everyone at Sabaody, right? So immediately, my first inclination was like, we're going to get out of this. Like, he's already lost his friends, right? They're like, there's no way he's going to lose anyone else. Like, I know this is a war, but there's no way he's, like Whitebeard's going to go. I don't know. After a while, after squad. It was like Whitebeard was like, okay, man's kind of on a shot clock right now. But Ace still felt like, yo, we can salvage this. Like, this is going to be okay, right? Like, he's going to get out of here. And, you know, to my very much tearful surprise, no, he did not get out. He you know, it's not, man, it did not, I did not expect it to happen. I really didn't, right? And the thing is, I will say, it wasn't like Whitebeard. Like, Whitebeard's death was a buildup, right? Like, it was just like these continuous, like, small steps. Like, it started with the stab, and then, you know, like, as he progressed in the fight, he would bleed a little more. Akainu just, you know, just, you know, hit him with the thickness, and that made it way, way, way worse. And then eventually, you know, Blackbeard and his crew just yeah, just a gangsta style, gangland style, like, massacre of that man. Still standing up, by the way. You know, it's one of those things where it's like he has no scars on his back, but let's take a look at the front. Oh no! But you know, it's just they did a really Oda. I say they because I want to include like the animators who you know, brought the story to the screen and stuff like that. But Oda did such a fantastic job of treating death in two different ways, right? Like I said, Whitebeard was a buildup. Ace was instantaneous in the sense of like Akainu was about to just absolutely give lava fist to Luffy, and man stepped in the way. And as soon as we saw those pearls shooting everywhere, we knew it was not going to be good. So, you know, I have so much more respect for the way he tells a story now, and the fact that, like, he took away two major characters but did it two different ways. Like, one was quick, one took a little bit longer. And I do want to say, in respect to Ace and Whitebeard, that's another, like, feather in his cap for the storytelling. We haven't seen a lot of Ace. We haven't seen a lot of Whitebeard. You know, Ace got several episodes pretty early on in Alabasta. Immediately, everybody was like, yo, this dude is freaking awesome. I love him. I'm too handsome to die. But the reason Ace matters to us the most, in my opinion, is because he matters to Luffy. You know, it's one of those things that after several hundred episodes, like, you know, Ace starts falling in the background. We get his Viva paper, and, you know, it gets worse in Thriller Bark, and, like, you know, even Luffy is like, he'll be okay. Like, if I go to save him, he's not going to be pleased. You know, so it just continues on where, like, Ace stays in the back of our mind, but we think it's okay because Luffy thinks it's okay. Like, we are kind of, whether your favorite character is Luffy or anyone else, a lot of times we're still putting ourselves in Luffy's sandals. You know, the story is carried mostly through him. So the idea of us continuing to care about Ace and Whitebeard is because Luffy cares about them. And that goes to show how good the writing is, because, like, in any other story, like, those are side characters. Like, but they feel like main characters here because they are treated as such through the eyes of Luffy. I mean, and that's my opinion, right? Like, you know, you may disagree, you may not like that. But I mean, that's how I'm seeing it. And as far as the writing goes too, in such a big stage, and with so many episodes, I think Marineford's 30-ish episodes, 40-ish episodes, which is for One Piece kind of normal within, like, the realm of whatever story they want to tell, right? The arc. You know, those 30-some episodes are usually given to, you know, 6 to 10 characters, depending on what's going on, right? But this time it was hundreds. Like, it was literally so many characters, and within that span of time, it felt like no one was left behind, which I think is just ungodly levels of storytelling. Everyone kind of got their due diligence. Everyone kind of got, like, their little bit of backstory they needed. Every character was understandable, understood, and fleshed out enough to actually matter in the story, right? Like, there's, like, no one, like, Vista, I thought was, like, a really cool character and came up huge several times, right? Shanks, who we've seen, you know, 20 seconds of in how many episodes up to this point? Like I said, 500 and some. You know, essentially ending the war. You know, my man's just like,
all right, stop. That's enough.
And so it's so impressive to me how, like, everyone kind of had, like, a different fight with different people, like, every episode. Like, Mihawk that one episode, it felt like that dude was fighting like 15 main characters, right? It's insane. Jinbei jumping from fight to fight, whether it's akainu, Mihawk, everybody was everywhere all at once. It's so good, right? It's so, like that makes everything so satisfying, and it also shows the power in One Piece, like how those different things mix. This man, I don't know, right? Like it's a conspiracy theory board at this point with like red yarn attached to person about how each of their powers would work to the other one. It just, he did it seamlessly, right? Like nothing felt out of place. And it's just, every fight was so satisfying. And you guys know me, like going back to the art stuff, the group shots. I love like when they do the still frame group shots. And there was like 5 or 6 different ones in this, right? And, as far as that goes, like the respect to the Admirals and their storytelling. And as far as, what was it, Aokiji, like that moment where he threw the ice down so Akainu wouldn't go after Luffy. Like, that felt like the favor to Garp. And once again, Garp, dear God, like this man wrestling the line between duty and family, and overall like doing both at the same time in an understandable manner. Like never did like I look at Garp and was like, you're dropping the bag here, dude. Like help your family out. Because when it came, like when Akainu actually like, did what he did, like, Garp was like telling Sengoku after he threw him down, he's like, you better hold me down. I'm about to ruin this man's day. So dude, it's just so good. And I know at this point probably no one's watching and knowing because I'm all over the place. But like that's why it's a rant and not like pushes up glasses like formal review kind of thing. It's just so good. I still don't know if Marineford is my favorite arc. It is though the best arc. And that's I'm not even like touching on the details of like saying goodbye to Kuma, who like now is just like, Pacifista 00, right? Like he is the main one. And, like reveals for Kuma are coming up, in the post-war arc, which blew my mind. And, you guys will eventually see that if you are watching this. And if you're new, sorry. A lot of people that are watching this are probably kind of like, used to me talking like this, but that being said, I'm 12 minutes in already. Oh my God. Like, I don't even know, like, how am I going to edit this? Anywho, it's one of those things where I do want to say, where do we go from here? And it's one of those things I'm already, like I said, like in the post-war arc, I think I'm getting close to in 508-ish. I want to say I'm 508 right now, but, Luffy is going to be changed. I don't see how he's not going to be changed. I feel like he's going to be more protective later on with everything. I just feel like maybe more careful. It might be a different word to use there. I think he's going to care about his decisions just a smidge more. I think this is going to be a period of him growing up and him maturing, not only in fighting, but from the idea of taking care of those around him and how much those around him actually matter. And the world at large, we've already seen how excited people are that Whitebeard and Ace are dead. They like 2 of the biggest pirates in the world are now no longer occupying space on this mortal coil. So it's very interesting to see how all that's going to change. I think in the future, it would be, if I was Oda, I would call it peak fiction war. I've talked about this time and time again. I feel like the natural progression after something like this, and with the way Luffy makes allies and the way Luffy is probably going to increase in bounty and how notorious he is and infamous he is, I feel like, and y'all have told me before, like I said, I don't watch interviews Oda does. I don't watch any other kind of videos because I don't want to be spoiled. But it's one of those things where I've been told that like Oda said he's planning something that's going to make like Summit look small. But that's in my head, that's the natural progression, right? Like even from the very beginning, Luffy has been gaining allies, whether you see it as Nakama, making friends, or anything like that. Like, dude, he's made allies with entire countries. Look at Alabasta, right? Like it's going to be one of these things where I feel like one day it's going to be like the world government versus like Straw Hats and everyone behind Straw Hats, and whether that's going to be like the peak of One Piece, like, well, you know, in the sense of Summit, if that's going to be like what is going to decide the world, or like, once again, all the fantastic speeches in this thing as well. Like Doflamingo is like, you know, whoever wins this is going to, you know, choose what is considered right and considered lawful. And it's one of those things that I think, you know, I don't know where we're at with like current One Piece, but it's definitely one of those things that like I feel that there's just going to be like another like big like us versus them kind of thing. And Luffy has made so many allies, and like he's so, you know, it's just quite cool that I've said for a year now, checking out the show, and it's his ability to draw people in. And you know, I feel like there's always going to be a bone to pick with the world government now after Ace. It's just going to be really interesting to see and figure out, and kind of where we go from there. But yeah, that's kind of my rant on it. I'm just glad I didn't cry. I hope you guys enjoyed that. You know, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Maybe I didn't get everything out that I wanted to say. But the art was fantastic. The powers, the way the powers matched up was fantastic. The way Oda told the story was able to include everyone, made it fit seamlessly. No wasted episodes. And when I say wasted episodes, I use that as like, hey, could this have been cut? Could this have been cut and made just like one episode? Like, no, everything in there felt good, except like for the 5 episodes in a row, we got the flashback of poor Kobe, where he was telling that Luffy was going to be, or Kobe was going to be an admiral. Like, that was like 3 or 4 or 5 episodes in a row, and it's like, we get it, we get it. He's trying and he's freaking out, but you know, I don't even consider that a misstep. I you know, there's just so much going on. It was damn near perfect storytelling, and there's really nothing else to it I could add. The one thing that I always like to judge a lot of these things on is like, does it make me want to go look up the manga, the lore, even more backstories and stuff like that? Does it make me want to dive further into what happened? And the answer is yes, I want to. I'm not going to, because like I said, I don't want to get spoiled, but like the fact that it makes me want to open the world more and understand what happened more in that immediate moment, like, shows me like how good and immersive it was. And honestly, like, yo, like, I'm so happy. Like, dude, this is my favorite show, anime, period. And it just continues to deliver. And like, I was so passionate about like how good Marineford was. I just needed to say some words about it. Whether it was any of it was understandable, like, we'll see, but I'm gonna wrap it up there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell me how I did. You know, be nice. Like I said, I'm not a professional reviewer, I'm not a smart person. Just, you know, let me know. But as always, make sure you
Be the algorithm monster.
hit that subscribe button down below, give us the thumbs up, share the show with your friends. Of course, 600 billion likes from never uploading again. That's a promise starting now. Ring the bell. And of course, if you want to see all my videos, early access and uncut, head over to patreon.com/boomstick. Links for everything down below. But as always, I love your face. Be the joy.